We open the film with our lead character, a retired elite assassin with exceptional skills, living discreetly in Brazil under a fake identity. Arthur is enjoying his retirement as a free man, away from his past, but still taking certain precautions in case they discover his true identity. After planting a bomb on his boat, he heads to a restaurant where a woman he doesn't know approaches his table. She tells him she's been looking for him for 5 months, that he's a hard man to find. Arthur responds that he doesn't know what she's talking about, she's got the wrong person. The woman laughs and assures him that he's the one she's looking for. She tells him that her representative has an offer he can't refuse. He needs to eliminate 3 men, and each death has to look like an accident. He informs her that the reports of her disappearance were greatly exaggerated. He faked his own death in a massive explosion. His representative could potentially disclose his current whereabouts to certain interested parties. You mustn't do anything crazy. You're surrounded by several highly skilled men. He must accept the task if he wants to keep his life peaceful and avoid certain death. Arthur tells him he'll make a call, takes out his phone to snap a photo, and then uses the table to stop his hands from moving. He knocks him out, and the highly skilled mercenaries try to neutralize him, but Arthur ends up knocking them out as if they were rookies. After neutralizing all the mercenaries, he notices through the cameras that reinforcements are on their way. Quickly, he jumps off the building, landing in a cable car cabin. The mercenaries board the same cabin and attempt to catch him off guard, but Arthur jumps once more, landing on a glider passing through the area. After returning to his ship, he notices from a distance that 2 individuals are forcing their way in, so he decides to activate the bomb he had previously placed, then heads to the port, where he has a container with his professional assassin equipment. He uploads the photo of the woman he had been talking to and decides to burn his credentials. The next morning, he decides to travel to an island in Thailand, where he meets with a close friend named May. Arthur explains to her that he urgently needs to find someone before they manage to locate him. Then he will leave the island to continue with his life. May asks him to come along and takes him to her house. She kept it tightly closed to prevent visitors from coming in, and the furniture stayed exactly as it was the last time. Once alone, Arthur moved the bed and pulled out a suitcase from a hidden compartment. Inside the suitcase, he had several fake passports, multiple phones, 2 guns, and a computer. After paying $10,000 to download the woman's information, Arthur uncovered her identity along with details about her known associates. Courier works for a man named Crime. As night fell, May ran to find Arthur to let him know that there was a man beating up his partner. He showed up today looking for medication and noticed he had bruises on his arm. Arthur mentioned that it's a domestic dispute. It's not his business. May reminded him of the time he helped her. They couldn't just stand by and do nothing. Women like her end up dying at the hands of their abusers. Arthur decides to step in and asks the aggressor to stop. However, the guy grabs a spear gun to attack him. Our protagonist defends himself and unintentionally ends up leading to the man's death. The girl faints, and Arthur asks May to take her to the beach. He takes care of cleaning the boat. Upon finding some documents along with a phone, he realizes that Gina took a photo of him. After setting the boat on fire with gasoline, he decides to confront Gina, asking her about the photo, and mentions that she's the second woman to have his picture on her phone. The first woman he knew worked for a guy named Crane. Suddenly, Gina tried to take the gun, but Arthur stopped her, and she promised to tell him everything she knew about it. She told him she didn't work for Crane, but that she was sent by him. He blackmailed her to force her to investigate him. She had no choice. The guy who was hitting her was also involved. He was supposed to attack her so she could get closer to the island. The hits were supposed to be staged. But Frank got drunk and truly attacked her. After meeting him, she had to pick up the phone and dial a reprogrammed number to let it keep ringing. That was all they asked of her. Arthur sensed they wanted to bring them together, thinking he would fall in love with her so they could then kidnap her. Crane aims to pressure him into following his commands, and they will act as if their plan went exactly as expected. He will make the call and take care of killing Crane. Gina tells him she won't help him kill anyone, to which Arthur replies that Crane doesn't leave alive the people he blackmails. He has spent his whole life killing people. He knows the mob's modus operandi perfectly. He will do everything he can to save her, but he doesn't promise anything. While searching for Gina, he found she runs a children's shelter in Cambodia. He was a military agent who left the war zone in Afghanistan to provide humanitarian aid. To verify the information, Arthur asks him about the blackmail. Gina tells him that she runs a shelter for victims of human trafficking in Cambodia. Problems arise every week, but she manages to figure it out. She tells him that a few weeks ago, one of her employees was kidnapped. 2 days later, they threw her out of a truck at the doorstep of her house. She was seriously injured. She died in less than an hour. Crane sent a mercenary to tell her it was a demonstration of what they would do to the kids at the shelter. They are her weakness. Crane took advantage of that to manipulate her. She was forced to follow his orders. A few minutes later, Arthur notices several of Crane's men watching them from a distance, so he decides to step out and take Gina's hand. They'll make them believe their plan is working as expected. They joined May's festival, and she paired them together as if they were a couple. They took part in various activities and eventually ended up forming a deeper romantic connection. As night fell, Gina apologized for involving him in her problems. She told him that the kids at the shelter meant everything to her, and if something bad happened to them, she wouldn't be able to bear it. Arthur mentioned that he understood. He revealed that he was also an orphan. He was sold to an Eastern gangster who trained child soldiers. Crane also had the same fate. They tried to escape, but Crane was left behind. They blamed him and made him suffer. Now he's getting back at him. What he's doing is for revenge. Gina hugged him and they kissed. The situation escalated, and they ended up in bed. The next morning, several armed men landed on the island with the intent to kidnap the couple. Gina was taken by other individuals while our protagonist was taken to Crane. They forced him to sit in a chair with explosives, and Crane told his men to leave them to talk alone. He told him that he managed to find him through facial recognition with the help of satellite tracking. Arthur asked him about Gina, to which his enemy gave him the information of the 3 targets he had to eliminate. His first target was named Krill, a military leader who also operated as an arms trafficker in Africa. He was one of the most powerful. He is in the Penjara prison in Malaysia. His confinement keeps him safe. For his enemies, it is impossible to attack him. He will have to eliminate the 3 individuals to recover his loved one. After killing the first one, he made a video call to show him that Gina is still alive. When the job was done, he received instructions to find her. Without wasting any time, our protagonist came up with a plan to infiltrate. The prison is over 100 kilometers away, perched on cliffs 100 meters high. It's surrounded by shark-infested waters. It's practically impossible to get in. No one has escaped alive. The hardest part will be getting close to your target. He is constantly surrounded by a team of highly loyal soldiers. While carefully reviewing the profiles of Malaysia's most wanted, Arthur discovers one who closely resembles him, leading him to replicate the tattoos and buy shark repellent. After preparing the substances, studying the plan meticulously, and forging his document with the criminal's information, he approached some officers who ended up detaining him on suspicion. They checked his document and confirmed that he was the criminal who was wanted and on the run. They transferred him to the prison, and he managed to get inside with the hidden preparations. Once in the yard, Arthur observed the trafficker guarded by his loyal soldiers. He asked one of the inmates, and that one told him he had been an executioner for the president of Liberia and for the Sudanese militia. They say he ate the hearts of his victims. In the prison, there are several relatives of families who want revenge, but his bodyguards protected him from any threat. Minutes later, Arthur noticed a hidden transaction taking place. He approached the guy and pushed another to take the weapon without him realizing it at all. While they were in the yard, Arthur noticed one of the prisoners sneaking up on Krill from behind, swiftly intervened, and took the guy down to completely earn Krill's trust. The trafficker tells his men to release him. He walks over and invites him to dinner as a gesture of gratitude for saving his life. As evening fell, the guards took him out of his cell to bring him to the trafficker. Kriega says that every week there are 6 murders and 23 stabbings. Most people blame it all on him. They believe that as the prison warden, he oversees all the inmates' movements. The man who attempted to kill him in the yard used to work for him. He was one of the best. But he had to kill his brother. When he manages to get out of prison, he plans to become the boss of all Africa. For that, he needs to have loyal men. While he continued to share his plans, Arthur attacked him from behind until he knocked him out. He mixed the dose and gave it to him to drink, making it seem like he died from an overdose. Upon hearing the noises, his soldiers approached, but Arthur asked them to remain silent. He positioned the trafficker as though he was praying to buy some extra time. When the guards realized that Krill had been killed, Arthur prepared a homemade explosive to break a section of the wall, put on the shark repellent, and then leaped into the sea, where Crane's men rescued him. His enemy stayed true to his word and made a video call to prove to him that Gina was safe and unharmed. Crane informed him he had 36 hours to take out all the targets, or else they would have no choice but to kill Gina. His next victim was named Adrienne Cook. She was at the top of her 58-story tower. He made his fortune with mining and minerals. Very few people actually knew that he built his wealth through human trafficking. His specialty was workers. His building is a highly secure fortress protected by advanced technological systems. The doors are crafted from 16-centimeter chrome nickel steel, equal to 12 armor plates in strength. The biometric sensors and retina readers at the entrances are impossible to breach. The walls and floors are constructed with 90 centimeters of solid concrete. Pretending to be a wealthy billionaire eager to purchase the apartment located directly below his target, Arthur successfully managed to take photos of the apartment keys to duplicate them. Then he creates a device capable of breaking the bulletproof glass. After studying the plan like a madman, he returns to the hotel posing as a maintenance worker. He uses the duplicate key to cut through the glass and gain access to the floating pool, where he carefully places the device in the center using specialized suction cups, creating a whirlpool that ultimately caused the millionaire's death, leaving the scene staged as if it had been an accident. While setting up the video call, Gina manages to move the camera to focus on the yacht's number. The criminals noticed, but Arthur managed to take a screenshot in time. He got in touch with the port captain's office and acted like he had an accident. A guy sailing in a gray yacht just scratched his boat. He has the number noted, but the insurance people need the owner's details. With the location uncovered, our protagonist rented a helicopter to find them as soon as possible. He dropped down just a few meters to avoid being seen and used an underwater propulsion system to get closer. Before boarding the yacht, he took out 2 targets with his silenced pistol. He moved stealthily until he reached the main room, where he took down several criminals, revealing his position. Upon returning outside, Arthur encountered Crane's men escorting Gina. When she saw him, she attacked the men to try and help him. But in the end, he ended up being captured. They took him to their boss, who forced him to complete the job, otherwise, they would kill the girl. He knew he was going to show up to try and save her. Gina had become his biggest weakness. He told his men to torture him and make sure to extract the information, but when he left, Arthur attacked the thugs and managed to escape using the thruster. His next victim was located in the coastal city of Varna in Bulgaria. His name was Max Adams, a wealthy American arms dealer. He built his base on a mountain by the sea, equipped with the most advanced security system available. He had a submarine base completely equipped with intercontinental ballistic missiles. No one could enter or leave the area. Many had died trying. It would be the most difficult place he had ever had to infiltrate. Investigating the information, Arthur realized that Crane wanted absolute power. His victims were the most influential criminals in each area. Crane wanted to eliminate all his competition to take control. That's why he decided to spare his life when he had the chance to kill him on the yacht. Arthur is the only one capable of killing any criminal in the world. After gathering information, he discovers that Max has a medical helicopter on standby for assistance at any moment. So he decides to infiltrate the hospital and eliminate the helipad guard. The individuals call the hospital and ask them to send the doctors. Our protagonist quickly hides and manages to get down to the base without being seen by the guards. He placed a device to disable the cameras, and the alarms went off. The guards mobilized to secure the areas, and our protagonist took down several individuals. The guards escorted Max to bring him into the panic room, but as soon as he entered, he found the killer calmly seated in his chair. The trafficker stayed calm and asked him the reason for his visit, to which Arthur replied that he was sent by Crane, but that he didn't plan on killing him. He had a different plan to take down his enemy. For that, they needed to work together. Knowing the plan would benefit him, Max ended up accepting. Arthur mentioned that they needed to isolate Crane from most of his guards. To do that, they would fake his death. They would come to take his weapons and confirm that he was dead, distrusting his own team. Arthur tried to make his death as realistic as possible. When they reported what happened on the news, they said he died because of an explosion. His body fell into the water, and his guards tried to search for him, but with the collapse, he was buried underwater. They couldn't find his body anywhere. At that moment, he received a call from Arthur asking him to hand over Gina. Crane told him he had to confirm Max's death, to which our protagonist informed him that Max's body was located at his submarine base. After hanging up the call, Crane ordered his men to go collect the weapons and check the body for confirmation. Once they confirmed the kill, they had to kill Arthur. Without wasting much time, our protagonist returned to the base to set up several traps. He stayed in position, waited for Crane's men, and ambushed them from above. The criminals triggered several traps, and Arthur took the chance to attack them while they were off guard. After taking out all the guards, he used the water jetpack to move closer toward Crane's yacht. The criminals attempted to use Gina as bait, but Arthur didn't fall for the trap. He took out several guards with a knife and moved forward using their weapons. He grabbed one of the guys as a shield and, with the unloaded gun, managed to take out others. Desperate about the situation, Ryan decided to set a timer to blow up the yacht in 4 minutes. Then he ordered his men to get the emergency boats ready. Upon noticing the countdown, he quickly led her to a survival capsule to save her life. Then he headed out to find Crane, took out his men, and confronted his enemy hand to hand, eventually tying him to the yacht with a chain. At that moment, the timer reached 0, and the yacht ended up completely destroyed. The capsule floated to the surface and Gina was rescued by some guys passing through the area. Upon receiving the news that no survivors were found, Gina broke down in tears among the crowd. We saw that Max met up with his men as they pulled out all the wreckage. Max left, thinking that Arthur died on the yacht. Sometime later, Gina returned to her children's shelter in Cambodia, wrote a letter to May, and thanked her for having helped her one day while she was teaching the kids. She was completely shocked to see Arthur standing right in front of her. In the final scene, we see Max reviewing the footage from the harbor cameras, discovering that Arthur had survived the explosion by hiding in the anchor compartment of the yacht, a type of airtight anchor chain compartment that allows divers to breathe underwater. As a token of gratitude for sparing his life and allowing him to monopolize the arms trade, Max decides to eliminate the recordings.